25/7. Folks, it's been in the field for 5 days.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, I'm Darren. Welcome to 8th Day Chronicles here at Cross Timbers Farm. Glad to have you with us today. It's hay baling day, our last baling of the year. And it's mid-morning and we're out here in our hay field. This is the west field. And we're just giving the hay a look over to see how dry it is. And there's still some damp dew on the hay this morning, so can't do a twist test on it right now. It needs to completely dry from the dew. This is the day the Lord's made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it, regardless of what the weather is. It's a great day to be alive and enjoying everything God has created and made for us to enjoy. We're going to be baling hay in a little while, but first we have to rake it into windrows. We cut this hay on a Monday afternoon, about 3 p.m. and today's Saturday. We've had 5 full, nice, sunny, no rain days of dry down. Now we have had some pretty significant dews of the mornings. We're looking really forward to getting this hay baled up today. And we are going to use Carver Equipment's Net Wrap Redlands 330N baler today. My beautiful, lovely wife Susan's going to be helping me in the hay field today because this field is so sloped that round bales coming out of that baler and a sloped ground equal runaway bales. So we have to have someone to catch bales when we eject bales off this field. And this coming winter, I'm going to be planning a bale catcher to hook to the back of our baler, that when we're baling in these steep places, we can go ahead and eject the bale and keep going when we're out here by ourselves, and it'll catch that bale, maybe catch up to 2 or 3. By then we should be around to a level spot where we can unload them. But that's in the projects. We'll be looking into that this winter. But today, Susan will be catching bales for me. And this ground is so steep that I'm not real sure we'll be using the accumulator out here because that puts a lot of weight on the front loader of that tractor. Even with the ballast box hooked to it, could make our tractor really unsteady on this sloped ground and could be dangerous. So we probably will not use the accumulator in this field. It's just too sloped. And we're going to be baling and raking this field slowly because the camera, we use wide angle cameras for the most part when we're doing motion and movement on the tractor and out in the field. And a wide angle camera lens just does not really do justice to how sloped this field is. It's not terrible, but it's significant enough that it could be dangerous if you're not careful. So we be real careful on it. We drive slow, we bale slow, we do everything on this field slow because of the degree of slope. So bear with us with that. We have our field raked into windrows, and I'm telling you, the bottom side of this field toward the rest of our farm is dangerous raking. I'm gonna make some hard decisions next year about limiting some of this field. There was places that I raked on this lower, let's see, that would be a northern lower side, that you have to turn around to make your windrows, and turning around right down here, there was more than once my tires come off the ground with the weight of that inline rake off the side. It's fairly, well, more than fairly, it's pretty dangerous. And I'm going this winter to see if I can lay out a different route for this field. If I do that, because of the degree of slope, we're going to lose some hay off of it, some ground that we're not going to be able to hay. But it's like I've said for years, there's no hay worth your life. One time I stopped and I wanted to get off the tractor to adjust some camera equipment. And I pulled the tractor up and stopped it and got off. And my weight in that tractor seat, when I got off, I felt as my feet was leaving the platform, I felt the tractor kind of shake. And when my feet hit the ground, I looked around, and this tire was about that far off the ground sitting there. My weight was the only thing keeping that back tire on the ground. And so I jumped back on immediately and moved it just a little bit to where it finally went back down. Next year, we're gonna have to do something different on this lower northern edge or northeast edge of this hayfield, because it's pretty steep. It's not bad when I've got the tedder behind it or the baler, because they're directly behind me and they're on the ground. When you have something attached to the 3-point off to the side with that extra weight, as in the drum mower and the inline rake, on this lower end, when you have to turn that way, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous, but we'll be okay baling it and tedding it when we tedded it, but today baling it, we'll be fine. So we've got Carver Equipment's Redlands /Farm Max 330N net wrap baler. We're going to use it again today to bale this west field. And we've already got the net wrap and everything loaded from our last time we used it. And we're going to do the net wrap bales today for our final baling with it. And then when we're done using this baler on this field today, on the next video or two, we will pull this thing back out and give you a full review of what we think of it. So for now, it's got cloudy, and it wouldn't surprise me if it don't rain in a little while. Let's get started baling. Okay, we're going to check the moisture content. Good looking bale hay. I'm curious what our moisture content is. Okay, we're going to check the moisture content. That's usually what we do the first 3 or 4 bales we make. And this one came from under that shade tree, at least part of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if the moisture content ain't high. Holy cow. 25. Okay, this one's going to have to be unrolled. Way too high. I'd have never dreamed this has been 5 days. All right, that one's coming unrolled. But before we do that, we're going to bale some that's out in the middle of the field that's not been under that tree. So that will be unrolled here in just in a few minutes. So let me bale one more. Let me choose a row out here in the middle of the field that's not been under the shade, and let's see how it tests. Okay, let's test. Let's bale one out in the middle of the field. Our second bale right out in the middle of the field. Moisture right in the center of it, 16.5. All right, let's go off some of the outer edges. .8. Go a little deeper. 25.1. Let's go to the other side. 23.4. 22.6. 25.7. Folks, it's been in the field for 5 days. I don't know what to do. 25.9. All right, we're going to unroll them. We done 2 bales, and they're both way too wet. And we've had this hay cut, and it's been drying for 5 days, and it's been tedded twice. No, tedded 3 times. I don't know what it's to do with it. We're going to take it to, we'll go ahead and throw these 2 bales in the trailer, and we'll unroll them up at the barn where it's close, where we can rebale them and keep an eye on them. But they're too wet, and way too wet. 25.7. All right, we're gonna wait. And if it rains on this hay, I don't know, I guess I'll just bush hog it in. It is what it is. These bales are way too wet. Right there. Goodness. Right there, 27.7. And if I pull it up about that far, it drops down to 24, which is still way too high. 27. All right, folks, we're done baling for the day. We made 2 bales. And we're gonna have to stop and bale it maybe Monday. That's when this thing right here is worth its weight in gold, everything you pay for it. And I would have really thought, this did not twist test all that good. But you think, it's been in the field for 5 days and it should be ready. It's not, and this thing proves it. Glad to have you with us on this beautiful day. It's very overcast, and there's a slight chance of some rain showers this evening. This is a Monday. We cut this hay 7 days ago, and we attempted to bale this hay Saturday, which would have been 5 full days of dry down. And you'll see in some footage, we attempted to bale Saturday. We made 2 bales to check moisture content, and it was bad. We had moisture content readings on our Agri-Tronics moisture hay tester of 30, 20, 30, and that was after 5 full days of dry down and tedding the hay 3 different times. And over the day yesterday was Sunday, and yesterday this hay got flipped again, and I done some thinking about why is this not drying down. Number one is we've had such heavy dews of the mornings that this hay's almost like it gets rained on every night. The dew has been so heavy. Then our humidity has went back up, and we've had quite high humidity during the days. And at night, it's really foggy at night and just a lot of moisture in the air. And our temperatures during the day have not been real high. We've had temperatures in the mid 70s, but the sun has just been intermittent the last few days. A little bit of sun and some clouds roll over. No rain, but just a lot of cloud cover. And it's just not been conductive for hay dry down. And here it is about 1 p.m. on Monday, and I just checked some of this hay, and it's, I'll tell you what, let's just do a twist test. All right, I'm just gonna randomly grab some here. It's still got a little bit of damp feeling. Okay, I'm gonna twist it. We're gonna do our twist test. Look at that. didn't spring out at all. Now it did break some, but it's moist feeling. And it's already in windrows, and I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss of what to do for this hay. We just cannot get it dried down, no matter what we do. I spent several hours out here yesterday just flipping this hay and getting all the wet parts up, and I think we're going to do that again because the top's got fairly dry. I'm going to walk over here to a row that's not been touched today, and let's just see. Okay, let's twist test it. This is off the top. Not good at all. Not good at all. I'm at a loss. If this hay lays out much more than it already has, it's the respirations of the hay, you start losing, well, you do immediately, you start losing some of the nutritional value of your hay the moment you cut it. But you can minimize that by spreading it out into the sunlight for stomatal openings to stay open and minimize how much nutrient loss you have in your hay. However, when you have to just leave it lying for days and days and days and still can't get it dried down, your nutrient loss starts becoming significant. And I don't know what it's to do with it. Never experienced dry down like this. Difficult is an understatement. It's some good hay. A lot of orchard and Timothy, and a little bit of fescue and a little bit of Kentucky bluegrass, but mainly orchard and fescue, or Timothy. And I don't know. I really do not know. We're going to try to flip this one more time. The top's got pretty dry, but the underneath is still damp. And we're going to flip it over onto some dry ground and see what happens. I actually felt a sprinkle of rain just a second ago, so it may be a moot point, but I really don't want to take a bush hog and chop all this up. I really don't, but it may come to that. We're going to do everything we can to make hay out of it. But it's been laying here for 7 days now. It was cut 7 days ago. And the moisture content, I'm afraid if we make a bale right now, it's still going to be high 20s, low 30s. Because the sun is just not cooperating. So maybe it'll come out in a few minutes, and we're going to do what we can. We're going to keep pushing forward until there's no need to push forward no more. So if we can bale this evening, we are going to be using our, not ours, but Carver Equipment's Redlands 330N net wrap baler for the final time to get our thoughts on it. And we're hoping to be able to do that, but it's all up to the good Lord above. So we're going to make the best of whatever hand we're dealt and smile and keep going. So we'll be back with you if we start baling. Okay, let's see how this one tests. This is unprecedented. I don't know what to make of this. One bale made, and after rolling these windrows again and flipping them over onto dry ground, and the bales still tested anywhere from 25 to 29 was the average, somewhere in that 4% range. And this is day number 7. I don't know what to think of this. I've never saw dry down happen like this. And I'm racking my brain thinking why. And I do realize today we've had no sun, basically none. Cloudy conditions, and we have had humidity is back from a week or so ago when we had real low humidity. The humidity's back up pretty high, and we've been having dews of the mornings that almost look like it's rained. Everything is so wet. And just combine all that dew with no sun today anyway, and not much sun yesterday. But before that we had 5 days of some sun, but higher humidity, and now it's starting to sprinkle. This is day number 7 of dry down. Tedded this 3 times. I'm just gonna leave it in windrows. It's coming quickly to the point that I'm getting put out with messing with this same hay over and over and over. And every time you ted it, you have leaf loss and all that stuff. And I'm just gonna leave it in windrows, and we'll bale one bale tomorrow. I'll come out and check it. And if it's high again, tomorrow, if we have sun and all that, I'll check it tomorrow. And it's amazing how green in the color that's still in this after 7 days. Do you think after it's been out here in the field for 7 days that there'd be no color left in it? That it'd be just as tan looking, every bit of it? It's not. There's all kind of it. There's much more green still in it than they are brown. I can't explain it. This is bumfuzzling to me. That's an old term used around here when you can't understand something. I'm just bumfuzzled with this hay, and it is what it is. We'll give it another day. Tomorrow will be day number 8 of dry down. 8. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to kick it again. We'll check it again tomorrow, and if it's no better, then it's probably going to be time to hook up the Woods rotary cutter behind the Kubota and just mulch this up. I don't know. It's a shame, because that's really, really good hay, full of orchard and Timothy. And I'm at a loss. This cutting of hay on this west field kind of is a highlight to how our seasons went. But you know what? Yeah, it's been rough this year. We've had setback after setback, but God's good. God's good all the time, and all the time God's good. There's a reason for this. The longer hay lays here, the more nutrient loss you're gonna have probably. But it's shocking how green some of this hay still is. But it is what it is. We'll check it tomorrow. Come back with us tomorrow. Well, the hay in the west field is finished. Well, it's the following day. Can you see what I've got hooked to the tractor? Friday evening, I went out there and checked the hay, and it did not twist test very good. So I thought, I'm gonna kick it, and with the sun we're gonna have the rest of the evening, and part of the day tomorrow. We should be able to bale by Saturday, 2 o'clock or so. Tedded it out Friday evening. Went back out there Saturday around noon. Still didn't twist test all that good. And I got the feeling of the hay, and it just did not feel dried down to a proper moisture content. If you've felled a lot of hay and worked in a lot of hay, you know that feeling. Put it to my face, put it to my arm, done the twist test, not that great. It's like from Thursday to Saturday, it had not dried any. Okay, fast forward. We went out Saturday and baled 2 bales. The first bale we baled, you've seen it in the footage, tested high. I thought, okay, let's bale one more bale, because this could have been under this shade trees where it just didn't dry as good. And if that be the case, we'll skip baling it. And after we get the rest of the field baled, I'll rake this out into the main field and bale it tomorrow or the next day. Give it another day out in the sun to dry. Okay, but we went out into the middle of the field, a better place where it'd been in the sun the whole time, made a second bale, still tested way too high. I was kind of bumfuzzled. So I told Susan, let's unroll these 2 bales and I'll TED this out again and we'll wait till Monday if we have to. This was on Saturday. I didn't really want to do it on Sunday. So we had plans in church and things of that nature. Fast forward to Monday, went out there in the field, it still felt the same way. Did not twist test worth a darn. Flipped it over, this was Monday, and the ground underneath was just damp feeling, and the hay on the very bottom had already been flipped Sunday, was still just kind of damp feeling, and rain in the forecast for Monday evening. So I told my son-in-law, I said, let's make 1 bale and see what it tests. So you saw the footage, we made 1 bale, 25–30% moisture. It just would not dry down. I mean, it would not. And so we just put the hay equipment up. I told him, I said, I don't know what it's to do. It's still just as wet as it was Saturday, and it's been here in the sun. We flipped it twice, and just, I don't know, I'll check it tomorrow. Well, yesterday evening, you saw about 6 p.m., it started pouring the rain. And it rained yesterday evening for a couple of hours, pretty hard. We got a good rain. And last night, heavy fog and heavy dew. And this morning, when we came outside, round in the fields here in our yard, just walking, the water was just splashing off your boots, off the grass from the dew and the rain we had and the high humidity. And this morning it was drizzly and foggy, and you can see the sun's out now. But that hay out here has had hours and hours of pouring rain and heavy humidity, fog, drizzle on it ever since yesterday about 6 o'clock until about noon today. And it's about 3 p.m. now and the sun's finally out, but it still looks like it's getting ready to rain again. This hay's been laying now for 8 days, and I'm sure the nutritional value of that hay is about gone, especially after all that rain on it yesterday evening. It's done. At this point, we're not even in salvage mode. We're just in maintaining our field mode. So this hay's still in windrows out here. And this was the last cut of the year. So we don't have to worry about the organic material on the ground now being kicked up in another cut in 2 months, back up into the newly cut hay and degrade it. So we've got all winter and all spring with snow on it and rain and everything to let that go back into our soil for organic material and be food for our soil. So we're just going to make the best of it we can. Before we can take our woods bush hog and go over that field and chop that up really good, fine, so it'll get into the soil better, we need to get it spread back out. It's in windrows. We need to get it spread all over the field and hook the bush hog up. We got lots of areas to bush hog anyway because of the foxtail infestation. So we're going to be doing a lot of bush hogging here in the next week. And if we can get this spread out all over the field while we're doing all this bush hogging of our hay fields and other areas, we can just go ahead and run the bush hog over that 3 or 4 times back and forth to keep chopping it and get it chopped as small as we can get it chopped up and let it work its way back into the soil this winter. That's all we can do. Boy, that's some wet hay. Ruined hay. Bring it out pretty good. Just finished washing our tedder, done for the year. Normally I don't like to wash much of my hay equipment. It's simply because it gets in places that will never really get dry and it could cause rust. But this tedder's okay to wash. Anything that's got moving parts is heavily coated in grease, and all the rest of it just had hay residue all over it and everything, and dust and dirt, and it's clean. It's clean for the winter until next spring. Kind of sad to be putting it away for the year, but it is what it is. Next step will be in a few days to hook up the bush hog to the Kubota tractor and go out there and start chopping it up. Kind of sad to do that, but it needs to be done. And we're going to look at the bright side of it. That's organic material that's going to go back down in our soil this winter and feed that soil, and it'll be good for it. You got to stay positive. The glass is half full. And we've had a really, if you get right down technical about it, we've had a difficult hay season. Very difficult, probably the worst we've ever had. But you got to stay positive. We will sit down with y'all probably in a week or so, and I'm going to do a review of our hay season and kind of the ups and downs of it. That'll be coming up in a week or two. We got bush hogging to do, a lot of bush hogging, and this winter we still got a lot of hay projects going on. We're going to try to design a bale catcher because of our sloped ground here on our property, and our hay fields are on hills. And a lot of those hills and a round hay bale equals a runaway bale. And because of that, I have to have somebody riding drag most of the time when I'm baling hay to catch these bales when they come out of the baler, or they just roll off. We're going to toy with that this winter and see what we can come up with. The Rhino PT207, that is a good piece of equipment. We really like this tedder, and it's clean for the winter. It's ready. Next spring, before we ever use it, we'll check all the grease in the gearbox and all that stuff and grease it all up again. But for now, we're going to let it sit here and dry in this sun. The sun's back out. It sprinkled rain there for about 15 minutes and quit, and the sun's back out now. So we're going to let it sit here in this sun and dry before we put it back in our barn for the winter. All right, thanks for being with us on this saga in our hayfield. Man, has it ever been a saga. This cutting on the west field and the main field where we had to cut around all that foxtail, and we lost about 2/3 of our main hayfield. We lost all that hay to the foxtail, and then we didn't cut some of our west field because of foxtail, but well, you know, the moisture content, the humidity was bad. The last 3 or 4 days of that attempted dry down, the high humidity combined with clouds and intermittent sun, and then a day or two of just pure clouds and no sun, and then rain on it yesterday evening, pouring the rain, and again this morning with fog and dew so thick it's just splashing off your boots in the morning out in the grass. It'll be feed for our soil this winter. So it's been a saga, and it is what it is. We're going to look at it as the glass is half full. This is the day the Lord's made, and we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. We're alive and well, and we got next hay season to look forward to. We're going to do a little bit of frost seeding this winter with some more Timothy, and we got things coming up going on, bush hogging, a lot of stuff to go on till blue snow starts blowing and forces us in the shop for a few days. Thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it, and I pray God blesses you and your family, and we pray y'all have a fantastic day.